Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we're going to be taking a look at this awesome little TLR7 from Streamlight. Streamlight was nice enough to send me this TLR7 along with a TLR1 HL. So the shooting footage that you are going to see was all on the same day, and I will also be coming out with a first impressions video of the TLR1 HL. The TLR7 is an extremely interesting weapons light that's on the market. Streamlight saw an issue with a lot of the other high lumen weapons lights on the market, and the issue with those high lumen lights was the fact that if you put them under a standard size pistol on the rail, you would get the bulb sticking out far in front of the gun. Now, this isn't a huge issue. For me, that issue is carrying the gun appendix. Carrying a full-size gun appendix is already a tough affair, but when it comes to adding another ½ inch from the bulb of a weapons light, that can add even more of an issue with comfort. So what Streamlight did is they actually trimmed down about a ½ inch to an inch of an overall profile of the light. Not only did they trim down the length, as you can see here, compared to the TLR1 HL, but they also trimmed down a little bit of the width as well, and that's just going to make it much slimmer for concealed carry. And honestly, guys, overall, I definitely think this little Streamlight TLR7 is one of the best small pistol lights that you can find on the market today. In fact, I am thinking about integrating this light into my VP9 here and getting a new T-Rex arm sidecar that is light compatible, and that says a lot because I have not been a fan of pistol mounted lights for concealed carry for a very long time just because of the added profile of the light. I fully understand the benefit, but I just did not want to deal with the added discomfort of the added length of the light in appendix carry. And you can see on the VP9 here, this light sits perfectly flush with the front of the barrel. And I did test this light with the M&P 9, also the PPQ in 22 long rifle that's going to have the same overall size as a standard 9mm PPQ, and we also shot it on John's P10C, and on all of these different guns the light fit perfectly flush with the end. Now, aside from this light being small, the most impressive part that I saw was the amount of light that this little thing puts out. It is now set from the factory at 500 lumens in this compact package. That was more than enough for any shooting that I was doing indoors and any defensive shooting I think you're going to come across. So whether you're looking for home defense or just to carry with you on an EDC gun, this is a phenomenal setup. Now, I know that there's other companies out there like Olight that do make mini flashlights for handguns, and those lights are actually pretty phenomenal. But the only downside that I see to a lot of different lights on the market is the way that they are mounted to the gun. So you will see that this really doesn't change the overall width of the gun itself. On the sides, they're actually about identical. It obviously does change the length that the holster will need to be, but the biggest issue with those other lights is the attachment method. A lot of those Olights have that big quick detach swing lever on the side, and that is great to allow you to actually mount that light fast, but the downfall to that is trying to find a holster that fits it well is a little bit difficult. Here, it's very streamlined and you don't have any issues with that. As far as fitment, Streamlight does ship this light with multiple little adapters in here for pretty much any standard pistol that you can think of. Now, those adapters generally come on this little tree here, and I did notice that you will get this secondary package, and in this package, it will have some little C-clamps in there and also this tool to get those on and off. As you can see, this package is not opened. I unfortunately did not know that those C-clamps were necessary, and they are supposed to go right on the inside of where your bolt threads into the other side, and I never used them. Now, this is not recommended and you should use those, but since I forgot, I thought it was interesting to note that this light operated just fine and did not get loose. Now, in order to get the light attached to the actual pistol itself, you're going to want to tighten it or loosen it to as much as you think you need, but then it has this spring assisted little section here, and that spring assist is going to allow you to push in and kind of pivot the light on and get the light fully seated onto the gun. You can see here, if we demonstrate this on the VP9, that I like latching the one side, pushing in with the bolt, and that's going to allow you to get the proper setup. And from here, you're going to want to use either your fingernail or at the very most a small little flathead to just get that tight enough. I use this 1913-2 attachment for a lot of the different guns that I tried it on. There are multiple others for a specific gun. Now the nice thing is that you don't really have to do trial and error with these little pieces, because Streamlight does offer this really nice little code here that's going to show you exactly what gun you have and what attachment is going to be designed for that gun specifically. Now this isn't exact, other attachments may work on that particular gun, but if you are looking for one that is perfectly designed for it, you would want to read this little pamphlet that will come in the box with your light. The back of the TLR7 is going to be of this kind of rubberized material, and that's also going to be where your controls are. Now the controls are a little bit different than your standard TLR1 series. The TLR1, being completely honest, is easier to operate. You might have to change your grip slightly to operate the controls on the TLR7. But there's only so much we can ask considering how small they got this light. What I found worked best for me is actually moving forward with my thumb to activate the light on or off. And that worked for me really well, and I really didn't have to change my grip at all. The actual controls are set from the factory to just be standard on and off or momentary. You can control these different modes, including turning on the strobe just by holding down one side and switching through the modes by tapping the other side of the control panel. I didn't feel the need to actually switch it over to strobe at all, just because I don't really use strobe a lot. Now, I was a little bit confused right out of the box before reading the manual at how to actually use the momentary on and off, because I would just simply tap it, and I'm used to tapping it and it just staying on or off. Now you guys will note that if you just tap it, it's going to stay on, and tap it again and it will come off. But if you hold the button down, it will then stay momentary, and as soon as you release the button, it will come off. And I think that's a pretty cool feature, and once you learn it at the range, it's really kind of intuitive. Now, in comparing the actual throw of the light to the TLR1 HL, you will obviously notice a huge difference in the amount of spill both lights have and how hot the beam is in the middle, and that is obviously just because we're comparing a 500 lumen light to an 800 lumen light. So there's obviously going to be some differences, but overall the amount of performance that you're getting out of this light is pretty phenomenal for the size of the light. Now the battery compartment is going to be a little bit odd compared to what we're used to. You're actually going to twist off the bulb here on the front. By twisting off, you will notice that it does have an O-ring, and that's going to help out with keeping this light water resistant. And then inside, you're going to see that it's going to function off of one CR123A battery. There's also this little display here right on the front. If you twist the front bulb of the light, you will feel a very distinct click. Now it's not audible, but you can definitely feel that, and once it hits the click, it actually disables the light from working. Now this isn't easy enough that you could inadvertently do it, but if you would, for whatever reason, like to turn the light off so that you cannot accidentally depress this, you can do that just fine by twisting it over to the side. If we go ahead and twist it all the way back over to the right, you will notice that it turns the light back on for us, and it works just fine. With the 1CR123 battery, you're looking at about 1.5 hours of constant on runtime at full power. This is not bad at all for an EDC light. Generally, you see these lights on the aftermarket for roughly $130 to $120, which again, for this quality of a light, you really can't go wrong with it. I had no issues at the range with durability at all on a pistol mounted setting like this, and I also did run it on a 22 AR, the Smith & Wesson 1522, and it did okay in that role, but because it did not have the same toggle switch that the TLR1 HL had, it was just slightly less ergonomic. Overall, guys, I really enjoyed testing this light in this first impressions video. I'm excited to see how this light's going to perform in the long run, and I do plan on getting a holster set up for this so that I can carry this every day with my VP9. That's pretty much going to wrap this video up. If you have any other questions about this TLR7 or any other light that Streamlight offers, feel free to throw them down below in the comment section, and you guys know I absolutely will get back to you. If you would like to support what I do here on the Firearm Freedom channel, go ahead and hit that first link down in the description. It will take you to a video on the Firearm Freedom Facebook page that explains to you how you can do that. While you're down there, check out the Firearm Freedom Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook account if you'd like to see some daily awesome gun pictures that we post on there. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell if you enjoy the content that's coming out here on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for more great videos to come soon.